Hello, everybody. Welcome to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Soccers and the Major Arena Soccer League. Craig Elston here with you, with Jerry Jimenez, back together once again, getting ready for Season 4, Episode 23 of our little old show. Very excited to have you all here with us. Mr. Jimenez.
What's happening?
How you feeling, brother?
Not too great still, honestly. I'm gonna survive through today, but I've got to be honest. I cannot lie. Most times I would say I'm fine, I'm good, but you're gonna notice in my voice it's gonna probably crack today, and I apologize, everybody. I'm getting over a cold, but I'm here. I'm committed. I couldn't be there on Sunday, and I'm super sad. I know we're gonna talk about it. It's good to be here with you today, though, on a Tuesday, sir. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. The pleasure is ours. And we are so excited to have all of our listening audience with us, joining us on, of course, our Soccer's Overtime podcast, whether you're listening on Spotify or iHeart, or you've got it on Apple Podcasts, Google Play. Of course, we say hello to everyone joining us right now live on Twitch, twitch.tv/San Diego Soccers. And I already see, Jerry, we've got a couple folks doing the multi-Twitch right now because it's Kansas City and Dallas getting ready to get started right now to wrap up the quarterfinals of the Ron Newman Cup playoffs.
That's so awesome. We have perfect timing. Didn't they? Totally planned to sabotage us, but it looks like our fans and our listeners are not going to be deterred. They will do both at the same time, as we probably should be doing as well, so that we can maybe give some updates, because this one's kind of an important one, Craig. This game is kind of important.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you can drop me off mic for or off screen for 15 seconds. I meant to pull up my other laptop. I just tried as we got on the air I was like, oh yeah, the game's starting. I'll put it on my phone, right? Mm-hmm. I tried to open it up on my phone, and all of a sudden my ear bits and the mic bits were all jumping over to the phone, and everything was messed up. And I spent the first 20 seconds of the podcast here like trying to get my ears back and all. I'm going to have to grab my other laptop, because I do want to keep, there's two reasons to keep everyone up to date, right, Jerry? The number one and most important reason, as far as you and I are concerned, is to hold our audience. We don't want everyone to be leaving. Just stay right here. We'll let you know what happens in the game. Don't leave us.
Yeah. What's the other one, though?
I mean, just to be,
so that we know
real
we're
time.
Playing?
Yeah. It's just to root for Dallas a little bit, I guess. I mean,
here, I'll take you off.
We'll be brutally honest about it. We'd like to root for Dallas just a little bit tonight.
All right, here, I'll take you off.
Take me down for 10 seconds.
No, you're good. Okay, so it's on me now. This is now become the Jerry Show. No, not really. No, thank you guys so much for joining us, especially those that are actually also, like you said, doing double duty. Alicia, so great to see you here. Eddie Bear, I see you in here. John, San Diego. Susan, I see you in here. JG, what's happening? This is one of those things when you come into the live show with us, it's so much more fun because you get to interact with us and send us some of your messages and things like that. John. Nothing much, man. Just watching some stuff. So let's bring Craig back in here. I think he's ready.
Yeah.
We good?
All right. I'm good. Just had to get the other laptop open, the work laptop. Now we can keep everybody up to date. All right. We got a huge show.
I will not be watching because I need to be controlling this. So you will keep me updated and keep everybody else updated as well. See what's going on.
For sure. That's what's going to happen. On tonight's show, which we are titling Big Wave Hunters. Soccers went for the 50-foot wave, took it down, no problem. Soccers ride that wave to shore safely. 2-match quarterfinal sweep. Soccers have won 22 in a row. They're on to the semifinals. Our special guest coming up at 5:30 this evening, Guerrero Pino, lockdown defender of the San Diego Soccers. He's going to join us, give us his own personal one-on-one defense coming up at 5:30. We will announce by the end of this podcast the date and time of our semifinal road match, our home match and road match.
Ooh.
We're going to let you know exactly what's going to happen so you can get your plans ready, get your tickets ready, get it all ready. That is happening. That is coming up in our Soccers news segment. And Jerry, did our show accidentally change the MASL's rules or the Soccers playoff path? MASL news segment coming up after our interview we'll let you know. The answer just might be yes. We're not exactly thrilled about that. But it
Oops.
is what it is, folks. It is what it is. As my friend has taught me, MASL gonna MASL.
That's it. You learn quickly, sir. Ugh, and we'll talk about it.
We're gonna talk about the latest way the MASL has MASL'd coming up in MASL news.
Jeez.
So this is
Mm.
gonna be a fun one, man. It's always fun in the playoffs. Here we are. We're in this weird time where the Sockers could lose, and then we're like, oh, we've got 2 more podcasts left, and that's it for the season. Or the Sockers keep winning, and we just keep rolling. We've already set a new season high for most episodes in a season of Sockers Overtime. So very excited
Hey.
about that. And we've got two quarterfinal wins, at least somewhat quickly to recap. But I wanted to start, Jerry, with what happened on Sunday at Pechanga Arena, San Diego. And I don't mean what happened between the Sockers and the Milwaukee Wave. We know that. The Sockers won 9-3, finished off a 2-game sweep. I want to talk about what happened at halftime and what happened after the match, because we discussed this at the end of our last podcast, but I wanted to put it right to the top of this podcast. As you probably remember, the final week of March, the MASL announced that they were going to have a yearly award for the team that wins the regular season, that finishes as the points champion, the MASL Shield, which immediately drew comparisons to the Supporters Shield of MLS. And they announced it on a Tuesday. We won it on a Thursday. So it was like, hey, there's a shield. Hey, you won the shield.
And Utica found out about it, and we're like, oh, what? There's a shield? Oh, maybe if we would have known from the beginning, we would have played a lot better throughout the entire season to win the darn thing. But no, here we are,
Harrisburg just going, you never told us.
You never said that. Wait. Oh, well, that's unfair.
Right? So then there became the whole, when are you going to give us the shield between the MASL and the Sockers? And because it's a regular season award, we wanted it awarded in the regular season. The MASL wasn't ready to do that. They told us we're going to come on the 10th, April 10th for your home playoff game, and we're going to do a ceremony then. And as you know, Jerry, and we talked about it, we announced this, we kind of broke the news, as we like to do on Sockers Overtime last week. We made the call that this needs to be a supporters shield. The MASL shield can be a supporters shield. And the way to do that is for the first team, the team that gets the first chance, to make it a supporters shield and to set the precedent. And that's what happened on Sunday at Pechanga Arena. You see, if you're watching our Twitch feed right now, you see that shield in the hands of the team. It was given to the team by 2 of our great supporters. On the left in the picture, you see Adrian from Los Brujos de 78, and toward the right to Cesar Cerda's left and the right of the picture, you see Genaro Cowboy Salazar, who has been here really since the 90s. Supporting the San Diego Sockers and supporting soccer in San Diego in every shape, form, league, outdoor, indoor, what have you. So that what you see there is what finished it. What started it at halftime was the commissioner of the MASL, Keith Tozer, coming out to midfield with the shield, with Sean Bowers, and with Genaro and Adrian. And I got to tell you, man, I mean, you know that behind the scenes, we worked very hard and we fought to make sure that this ceremony would be what it is and what it was, a supporters ceremony, a supporters shield ceremony. There was pushback. We don't even have to talk about that. We fought through it. We blew through that pushback. And I was like almost, I don't want to say the tears, but like I had chills when Keith Tozer, the commissioner of the MASL, opened the microphone and he said, this MASL supporters shield.
Yes.
He named it. That's not me. That's the commissioner. He called it a supporters shield. And now it is and shall be a supporters shield for the MASL. I feel like we have helped in a small way, Jerry, to take a step to help change the culture of this league to make this about the fans, to make this about the people who support this sport, who support indoor soccer. And I know that not every team in the league has a supporters section like Los Brujos de 78, but I saw in Chihuahua last night when the Savage were playing, I saw an incredible supporters section down there. And I know that whether they may not call themselves a supporter section, that there are diehard fans, season ticket holders, people who put their all into their team in every market in the MASL. And so we've now set a precedent here in San Diego where even if that next shield doesn't come to the Sockers in 2022, 2023, wherever it goes, it's going into the hands of the supporters of that team. It's going through the hands of the supporters of that team. I can't tell you how important that is to me. What do you think, Jerry?
Listen, I have to tell everybody that's sitting here, and I will tell everybody that will listen to me forever and for the rest of my life, that this was all Mr. Craig Elston. This is something that Craig has been working for even before I came along. And it's something that, yeah, we've maybe, I think, figured out together as far as what support, how much supporter culture. Everybody that's in that stadium is having a good time. He is the jack of all trades. I promise you, this man is doing everything in his power to make sure that everybody in that stadium is happy, along with everybody else in the organization, of course. But this specific thing right here that we're talking about, which is the supporter shield, as we're going to call it, it wasn't supposed to be that. It was just going to be an MASL shield. That's why it was originally called just an MASL shield. However, we hope that if it's not us that win it the following year, that if it's somebody else, that they continue the tradition of sharing that with the people that matter the most, which is those that are in the stands every single day that there is a game. They're supporting even when there isn't a game, and that is the supporters. Whether you are in the supporter section or not, if you're that type of person that is always here, and I see a lot of you, right? And I don't want to miss any of you, but you're all here in the chat right now. You're all part of this.
Yes.
Cannot commend Craig enough because I saw how much he worked to make this happen. He lost his mind multiple times, having to just making sure that things happened, and he just makes things happen. And this is one of those things that, Craig, I have to give it to you, man. This is amazing. When I saw it, even though I wasn't, one of the things I was so sad that I missed on Sunday, but man, I got to see it on TV, and it was like, wow, he just missed. Commissioner Ketoser just called it the supporter shield. He said the MASL supporter shield, and then he goes on to explain why, right? And it was just, and also shout out to Greg Suddy on soccer. He interviewed him, and he said it again afterwards.
Yes.
So again, this is something that just kudos to you, man. Your hard work, and I know that we have a long way to go, but this is such a huge step in the right direction, and I hope everybody who's listening sees that and will join us. If you've been on the fence, honestly, like, come and hang out and be a part of this, because if you're here right now, you know it and you've seen it. But man, what a great moment that was on Sunday, Craig. And man, just nothing but love for you and for everything that this organization is doing. And I'm just super proud to be just a small part of it.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And of course, I mean, you know that everything I've learned about supporter culture, I've learned from you through, our first interactions back to 2019, back to LA Football Club and the 3252. And I've learned, and I mean, really for me, even going back to 2015 and going back to having the American Outlaws come to our U.S. Open, our U.S. World Cup, indoor World Cup game, and feeling that supporter energy in an indoor arena, going, oh, this is it. Like, this is it. This is what it's got to be. This is where it's got to be. And, what really matters to me, because, Jerry, we've got a supporter culture in this town. And sometimes it's embattled, sometimes it deals with adversity, but whether it's Chavos de Loyal, whether it's the local supporters group, whether it's San Diego Sirens, whether it's the Albion folks, who I thought did a great job at the U.S. Open Cup. Like, there is supporter culture here in this town. But what I hadn't seen, and I really wanted the Sockers to do, is to create that link directly. to create that link directly and to forge something that does extend from the league through supporters to hopefully take that step in the next direction, so that when somebody who's maybe a local that has watched from afar, and enjoyed the games on television and said, well, that's cool, but I've got a lot of time basically baked into Loyal, and I don't have time to support Soccers, to see what we're trying to do, see what we're building and the links we're creating, and understand you can do both. You can come out on a Saturday to a Loyal match and a Sunday to a Soccers match, and we don't have to have a committee meeting to be supporters of the San Diego Soccers right now. We don't necessarily need to have a treasurer or minutes or bylaws. What we need is just people. We need energy. We need passion. And it starts with leadership, and we wouldn't have anything without Adrian. Adrian, you and I, Jerry, you've been looking for months and months. I've been looking for months and months for somebody to take the reins. It can't only come from management. It's got to come from la gente. It's got to come from the people. It's got to come organically. And Adrian is someone who grabbed the reins, and said, let's do this. We know we are Chavos, but now we are Brujos as well. And in doing so, we now have a group. It exists, it's real, and it ebbs and it flows, but I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger, and the flow is going to grow as these two playoff rounds, knock wood, progress here, Jerry, and as we progress into next season. And I really hope that shield is a moment that we can look back on and say, that's where something concrete started.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. And kudos to both Cowboy and to Adrian. I know they were super excited, and man, what an honor too to be the first ones to receive it, and then also to give it at the end of the game to the rest of the team. I saw that. Did our GM decide to stop everybody from celebrating with it? They said, no, okay, you got it, give it back, and then stop. I did see something like that, but I didn't. I don't know what happened. So maybe you can give me a little bit.
I will. I'll give you a little bit of background because, as you know, when it was originally like, hey, MSL wants to present this in a pregame ceremony, our captains said no. We told that story last week here on the podcast, and we're not going to do that. And then when it was potent, we said, well, okay, here's a plan. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a halftime ceremony, and then if we win, we'll do this post-match. We'll do it like MLS. The team gathers, the supporters bring the shield to the team, and then you do the lift, right? And that was the plan. The plan was executed. It happened. There's still a handful of players on the team that are like, what are you doing with that trophy? That's not what we're playing for. We're playing for the big one. We're playing for the other one. So
good.
There were, yeah. So we did the lift. We did the photo op, so to speak, or the ceremonial moment. And then there were a couple of guys that were going to kind of take the shield around. And there were a couple other guys that said, why don't you just hand that over to Sean and get off the floor with it? We got bigger fish to fry. So if nothing else, that tells you the mentality of the ball club right now.
Love it. I like that answer. I'll take it all day.
So our special guest is coming up in just a few minutes. Obviously, not enough time to roll in the 2 highlight reels. We'll talk a little bit more about the series and we'll talk to Guerrero, and we can play some highlights with Guerrero if we want of these 2 series. But 9-2, 9-3 on the heels of 13-2 in the regular season, and it's pretty bizarre just to say that the Soccers dominated the Milwaukee Wave in a way that the Milwaukee Wave franchise hasn't been dominated by a single club in a single year ever. 31-7, the 3-game aggregate. That's insane. And 18-5, of course, in the playoffs. If there was going to be a game for Milwaukee to win, it was that game 1. It was that Thursday game at home. And I really think the highlight that you just rolled there, Jerry, showed something, setting a tone. The physicality, Andre Hain, the one guy, the big boy, the 6'3" Brazilian, tangling with Boris Pardo, 2 big fellas.
Right off the bat.
Getting their legs caught. Yeah. And then Boris got up and was like, all right, bring it. Give it to me. Is that how we're going to play? Let's go. And I really thought that did set a tone because whatever Milwaukee threw at the Sockers in that first quarter on Thursday, the Sockers parried. We see the one goal of the quarter from Tavoy Morgan. It came 100% against the run of play. It was one of maybe 2 minutes in the quarter that the Sockers had the ball on their toe and in the attacking zone. And the rest of the time, it was Milwaukee attacking, San Diego defending. The Sockers were bunkered in. You 5 guys behind the yellow line, 5 guys defending for Boris Pardo. The Wave got a lot of really nice looking chances, and Boris Pardo was an absolute stud. And when he needed it, Juan Manuel Rojo and Zé Roberto were there, each in different plays to clear balls off the line or to block goals. And it was just that kind of concerted effort that had to absolutely drive the Wave crazy, Jerry, because they were outplaying San Diego and losing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy, and it goes to show like the defense, right? And the power of Boris. Like, what a great effort from the boys on that one. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I feel like Milwaukee had plenty of opportunities. It was such a physical game, and it just they could not put it in the back of the net. And the Sockers seem to keep doing it, man. And I mean, we're seeing Childs here on the screen here. If you're live with us, that mustache, man. There's some power behind that, sir. There has to be.
There's also power behind that right foot when he puts his laces through. Who has more accuracy
Oh,
than Craig Childs?
no one.
And one of the notes I put in our list for the Thursday game is bangers only,
Yeah.
because the Sockers just scored golazo after golazo in this match. Childs upper right corner, the goal that's coming up right here. Christian Gutierrez
Oof.
sent in by Sean Callahan. This is a right-footed player. Takes a touch to his left foot and rips upper left V. Bangers only in this game.
Dude. Okay, so I didn't even realize that. I hadn't even noticed. He is a right-footed player. Man, Golden Gutierrez at it again. That is beautiful. Golly, if you're not watching, if you're listening, you have to go back and watch these highlights. Again, shout out to Eddie Bear. Eddie does it for us. And you can go on YouTube and just literally search Soccer's Milwaukee, Sockers versus Wave, and it will show up. And you can go and watch these replays that we're going through right now, the highlights. But man, I wasn't even aware of that. God, Lee, you're not kidding at all, Craig. These were some crazy goals.
And of course, Pardo's stopping everything in between. Then the Sockers get a power play, and it's Craig Childs again, right through the net. Shoots it through the net. It's the exact same upper right corner. Clearly, the first shot he had caused a hole in the net, and the second shot went through the hole that he had created in the upper right corner. The Sockers were abusing the corners so much they were breaking the net.
The announcers at one point were like, "Oh, and that was a goal. I guess the ball went right through the net." And the Crickets didn't start playing for a little while. Like, it actually took a bit for the Crickets to start playing, oh my gosh. So annoying, by the way, but to each their own.
I was talking to Marcio Leite Sunday night, Jerry, after the game, and we see Leite's shot get through to Mario Alvarez for one of the 2 Wave goals on Thursday night. He told the story to Craig Childs outside the Sockers locker room. He said that at halftime of Thursday's game, Wave head coach Giuliano Oliviero came into the locker room when it was his turn to talk, kind of sat down on a counter and just went, "Well, guys, I have no idea what to tell you right now. We are killing them, and we're losing 4-0. And I mean,
Seriously?
I feel him. Yeah, that's what the Wave coach said to their team at halftime of this game is, "We're killing them. We're losing by 4. But what more do you want me to say? Let's keep killing them and hope that we don't lose by 8." And they did. They did. That's exactly, the Sockers just kept up the pressure, and Pardo kept up his part, and the Sockers start getting the counterattack goals, and 4-1 becomes 7-1, becomes 9-1, just like that. It's demoralizing for the Milwaukee Wave to be at home, to have this chance to have won 3 in a row, to have fought their way into the playoffs, to play so well. An own goal, Luan Salas Oliveira over the head of his keeper Capinos to make it 5-1, and then really floodgates just opened from there, Jerry.
Can we just talk about that Zé Roberto save though?
Unbelievable, man.
Unbelievable. where did he even come from? I didn't see him. He's so tiny. And out of nowhere, he just, my gosh. Defensive save of the year, says John, and I would agree. That was ridiculous. That was nuts. So, yeah.
You know, Zay was really a reserve player for the Sockers this year, right? Drew into just a couple of games, handful of games. I don't think he's going to miss a playoff lineup, Jerry. I think he's going to draw into the lineup every game of the playoffs. And I think that this game, game one, blocks 3 shots, blocks a goal, saves a goal off the line with a spectacular play. I think Zay kind of wrote his ticket trying to wrap up his career with a 6th championship.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. John San Diego 619 says he heard the announcers talking about him and he just had to. No, that's just how he plays. That is literally Zay Roberto right there. I mean, he's going to be a legend all the way to the end. And I wouldn't expect otherwise from that man. So, yeah, no, that was awesome. That goal from Charlie as well. I mean, 2 golazos. How many did he have on the night? Was it?
Charlie had 1 goal, 2 assists. Leo had 1 goal, 2 assists. Craig Childs had 2 goals, 1 assist. Tavoy had 2 goals. Brandon Escoto had a ridiculous header goal on a power play.
Oh my
Just,
goodness.
bangers only. Again, bangers only. Leo puts it inside the crossbar. Escoto heads it into the upper V. Sockers had such clinical finishing in this game. Almost nothing off the post, almost nothing off the crossbar, everything finding its exact spot. Just a true domination of the score line of the game. And, you could certainly say that the Wave controlled first quarter flow, but that's it. And by the way, this, Jerry, but people are just around the nation, I think, are just starting to come to the fact that the Sockers won last season by adopting a low pressure strategy, by adopting a defense and counterattack strategy, and they've kind of perfected it this year. Last year they worked through it toward the end of the season in the playoffs, and it worked well in the playoffs. This year they're now 25-1 regular season and playoff, and moments like that first quarter where San Diego hunkers down and defends and blocks shots and kind of lets the other team wear themselves out, almost a Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope type strategy. It's been super effective. And therefore, this is one of the only teams in my life, Jerry, that when they don't have the ball and they're just in a 7-8 minute, defensive stretch, I actually feel confident. It's not like, goal coming. You just feel confident that this is kind of like the Sockers in their groove, their defensive groove.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And that's absolutely something that I felt this weekend, with the Sockers and watching them. It was like, even when they seem to not be in control, they so are in control of the game. They may not seem like it. It may seem like they're just defending, and the other team is attacking. But still, just from seeing them the entire season, I can see where, I don't know, they just feel like they're in control of this game still, and I'm not worried. So, yeah, it's super interesting that you bring that up, because I don't think I had really thought about that too much. Yeah, no, that's a very interesting fact there, sir. Are you watching the game?
So the Sockers win that one 9-2. We've got highlights from the second game, but it's the bottom hour. Yeah, 1-1, Dallas, Kansas City, 4 minutes, first quarter.
Okay.
Sidekicks got the first. KC answered pretty quickly. So keeping our eye on that one. But right now it's time to welcome in our special guest. We've been tracking him down for a few weeks, and now we have got him. He is the lockdown defender of the MASL. He is the man whose face is imprinted on both sides of the pillowcase at the Tayu household. Every time Frank wakes up, he looks to his right. Oh, God, he sees Pino's face. He looks to his left. Oh, God, there's Pino's face again. I made those pillowcases for them as a Christmas present. I'm sure they have them out. Let's welcome onto the show, making his Twitch live Soccer's Overtime debut, Guerrero Pino. What's up, Pino?
Hey, how you doing, Craig? How you doing, Jerry? Thanks for this space. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
It's our pleasure. It was okay with you that I made that pillowcase, right? That was okay.
He's creative. I mean, you're an expert on that, so that's good.
Well, hey, buddy, let's get started. Just nice and simple. Let's talk about that opening round. Obviously, didn't get the chance to play in the Thursday game. You were working your way back from a little bit of a leg nick, but you were back out there on Sunday, right back into the lineup, right back trading with Mitchell Cardenas. What were your thoughts on the way San Diego was able to get past Milwaukee in 2 games?
I mean, it felt good to win both games. It gave us a little bit of confidence to go into the semis, but we knew it was not going to be easy. We knew Milwaukee was coming I'll say on a good 4 or 5 games where they were playing better and performing better. We knew that they had everyone back, and we knew that it was going to be a game. I think over the year we always said that it doesn't matter how you finish in the regular season; it's about how you do it on the postseason. And I mean, we got the first step, and now we're waiting for the second one.
I'm interested because obviously with Ian Bennett, I mean, somebody like that you have to cover, and we talk about the Sayu brothers and all of that too. But man, like, so no run of play goals in 3 meetings against Milwaukee. Like, how do you adjust to somebody like Ian Bennett in comparison to maybe Tayu brothers, and how are you able to just handle somebody like that, man? Like, Ian Bennett is a legend across the league, but he wasn't able to get any run of play goals off of us. Like, how does that happen?
I would say it's part of being disciplined. I mean, we had a plan going to the Milwaukee series, and we stick to it. I mean, it was a plan to how do we defend as a team. I think you guys were saying it earlier in the podcast that, I mean, we're good. We're really good defending. We feel comfortable defending, and then we know we have the strength on top to score goals. I mean, if you ask me as a defender, I mean, I don't even bother myself to go up there and try to score goals, because I know my role, and I know the role of everybody. And at the end of the day, if everyone does their role, I mean, we're gonna come victorious, And with Ian Bennett, I mean, hands down for him. I mean, he's a pretty good player. He scores a lot of goals, and we knew he was a threat for us this series. But again, just being disciplined, sticking to our role, and the guys did a great job. The guys that had to defend him, they did a great job.
Guerrero, being in this division means that you've got almost all the time a top forward to match up against. And of course, we invoke Frank Tayu's name in Ontario, but you've got Pareja, Jorge Rios in Chihuahua, and of course now Torres, who was your teammate down in Australia, Edgar Gonzalez, a great target. And of course, in Tacoma, Nick Pereira, somebody who's one of the most technical players, indoor or beach, in the country. How much do you think playing in the West helps sharpen the Sockers defense kind of by necessity?
Well, it's great. I think this regular schedule helped us a lot to get better overall. I mean, if you look at our schedule, I think along with Ontario was one of the toughest in the league. There were other teams with really good records and stuff like that. But in reality, I mean, the teams, with all the respect, but the teams that they were playing, probably they were not on their best season. And with us, I mean, we had Ontario that was, I mean, at the beginning of the season, everybody was thinking that Ontario was going to be in the championship game again, We had Chihuahua, where everyone was expecting a lot of good things, even us. I mean, we knew Chihuahua was going to be a playoff game at some point, even though they started slow and they had a slow start. I mean, we knew they were going to click, We knew they were going to click. And playing Nick and Frank and Puentes, Torres, all of them, I mean, it just helps you. I mean, he helps us to not relax, because we know that every game is going to be a challenge for us as defenders. I mean, Mitchell, Cerda, Rojo, myself. I mean, we know that we got to stay on our A game and then just get ready for what it comes. I mean, yes, we had a great regular season against them. I mean, but we got to prove it on the postseason. I mean, everything is going to go to trash if we don't capitalize with the Ron Newman Cup.
Craig, actually, I want you to take this next one because he just mentioned, obviously, Rojo, Cerda, and we've talked about Mitchell. We've talked to Mitchell Cardenas as well as now as Mr. Guerrero Pino here. But the on-ball combo with the Pino Cardenas, like, do you have a specific question about that? Because I want to know so much about this relationship. We've been talking about how well this team has been put together. And those back four, man, I mean, any team would want to have the four of you in as part of their squad, right? But what is it like having everybody together? I guess, like it just to me, it's so impressive, man. And it's I can't technically even talk about it because I don't know that much, but that on the ball combo of you and Cardenas, I mean, like Mitchell's just fantastic. How has that worked out? How has that been? And where do you guys feel like you're at now in comparison to maybe, at the end of the last season?
Well, I mean, last season, it's kind of hard to compare last season with this season, especially because last season was a roller coaster for us. There were a lot of up and downs and more downs than ups, until the end. And it was a short season. We're playing away all the time. Never play at home. Practices were limited. COVID was involved, and all the teams were in the same scenario. But it made it a little bit harder for Tacoma, Ontario, and us to not have a home to play. There was no weekends where you were like, okay, we play here this week, so I'm okay. No, it was always that concern of like, oh, what time is the travel? What time do we fly? What time do we get to the hotel and this and that? But that team bonding on the hotels and all of that helped a lot, and I think Cardenas mentioned it before. I mean, we're family. I mean, we get along well. We give a hard time all the time, and most important, we understand our role. I mean, if you have a chance to listen to the pregame speech from the coaches, is basically really specific. I mean, Pino, Cardenas, know your role. This is what you're gonna do. Cerda Rojo, this is what you're gonna do. And then whoever is on the line with them, even Z was his on the line, and we just go by that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we trust each other a lot. We know that everyone on the team is capable of doing a good job. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's not about me or individual stuff on the team. It's more about, I mean, the team. What does the team want? And at the end of the day, I think we all have the same objective, and playing with those guys, I mean, it's just easy. You make it easier. When he gets in trouble, when Boris gets in trouble, he knows that he can dish the ball to somebody on top, and we're gonna hold it. When I get in trouble, when I messed up, I know that maybe a Rojo or Cerda is gonna catch me. You know what I'm saying? It's always like that trust with each other, and that confidence that, I mean, that we have a good talent on the team, and then we have a great team, and we're working towards the goal.
Guerrero, for years, the Sockers have had veterans. They've had experience. They've had the technical ability. They've had the strength, the goalkeeping. All of these elements have been in place in San Diego for years, and the Sockers didn't win the title. Last year, they did win the title. As you mentioned, it was such a unique and difficult slog. This year, there's something different, and I think something specific, because we talked about, as you know, right before you came on, how the Sockers have learned how to defend, how you guys have become such an effective low-pressure club, a team that can bunker in. But you can't bunker in unless you can counter. And Christian Gutierrez and Juan Manuel Rojo bring a speed element to this lineup. And I think in particular Rojo, I put in our menu the Rojo difference, because God bless Zay, but he's not going to be able to beat everybody down the floor when you block a shot and get a counter, or you get a throw out. But Rojo and Gutierrez, the TJ counter, as we call them on the air, they have that ability to have the counter be on just like that. How important do you think it has been for the mix of the team to have not only Christian grow into the role he has, but to have Rojo step in and perform the role he has for the team?
I mean, it is great. I mean, just adding to that, I think I've been here with San Diego for 4 seasons, and even the season before that, I think San Diego has always been the best defense. And we're again the best defense in the league. It's just now, yes, we have Rojo, which brings fresh legs all the time. He's fast, and I mean, once he's on the run, I mean, besides Christian, I mean, nobody's gonna keep up with him. So that helps a lot. I think having that counter attack is pretty good, but it's not gonna work without being able to control the ball and make blocks in front of the goal. Rojo has had a great year so far, and he keeps killing it every game. And it brings a little bit of more, I'll say, spiciness to the team. and now they're not only worried about the targets or the midfielders. Now they're worried about Cerda going up and run or Rojo going up and run. I mean, it's just that. And then, I mean, if you ask me, to be honest, I mean, I think Rojo is extremely fast. But if you look at Leo is fast. Churras is fast. Christian is fast. Cerda is fast. I mean, Cardenas and all. I mean, I think everyone has a little bit of a speed, but I think Rojo makes a little more impact because he's coming all the way from the back. And the way it looks when when he leaves the players behind him, it makes it even more impressive, you know?
One of the things that we've talked about and we praise and, rave about in this podcast is somebody that you're very familiar with, that you get to be in front of and actually see in action and, hear him yell at you probably sometimes, and maybe you yell at him back. And somebody that has brought so much and continues to bring so much. And this season specifically, man, how do you feel? What's it like being in front? How do you feel about Boris's performance so far this year?
I mean, goalkeeper of the year. Let's summarize everything, you know? I mean, Boris is Boris. We know we call him the monster for a reason. You know, obviously we say it in Spanish, but I mean, he's amazing. He's a great goalkeeper. He gives you a lot of trust. I mean, you know that he's behind you, and it doesn't matter what happened. He'll make saves. You know, he'll make saves. He's a leader on the team. I mean, he has a lot of experience. And Boris and I mean, we go back, I'll say 12 years. You know, we known each other for 12 years. I mean, when
Wow.
when I was in KC, when I arrived to KC, Boris was one of the first people that I met. And I mean, Boris and I mean, even though it seems that we started to know each other here. I mean, Boris and I, we go back 12 years. I mean, we know each other pretty well. He knows that if he goes off on me, I might talk back to him, but that's not gonna bring me down. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we can go at each other like nothing. And even though some of the teammates or fans might get worried about it, that we're going at each other, I mean, it's part of us. I mean, we know each other well. That regardless what happens at the end of the day, I mean, I'm gonna come and shake his hand, and I mean, it's just like that. And then we have a thing, Boris and I have a thing before the game that we always do. And I always give him a number of like 2. And he's, yes, no more than 2. For example, used to say a number. Like we always give ourselves a goal to keep the score in that number, you know, or at least that's the highest number. So we always said that. I always tell him that. He always tells me that. And I mean, it's impressive. I mean, watching him when you're on the bench and then you watch the saves that he makes is just unbelievable, you know. And when you're in front of him, I mean, all you can do is try your best to not make it work that hard. But if you're not able to control that, I mean, you know that he's gonna work hard and he's gonna make that save.
That's awesome.
Just a couple more questions for you, and we'll let you go, Pino. But one of my absolute favorite games of the year was up in Ontario, and of course, all 3 of the games up in Ontario were 3 of my favorites because they are all 3 San Diego Soccer's wins. But on this particular night, Mama Pino was in the house and was sitting just right behind me, right above me on field level, and was cheering and was giving abrazos to the team and maybe a little bit a different type of beso to the opponents verbally. And you got your goal of the regular season that night and got the chance to go over and give your mom the heart sign. And I just, it was such a special, fun night. How much fun is your mom at games, the way she goes off?
To be honest, I mean, everyone tells me because she watch every game, even if I'm not playing, and everyone is like, she's crazy. I mean, she is gonna get a heart attack at some point. She gets nervous, she gets mad when they push me down and stuff like that. But I didn't realize it until I watched her in person. You know, yes, she was really nice to us, and she was really hard to the other team. I mean, at some point I look at her and I'm like, hey, just relax. But I let her enjoy the game. You know, she had so much fun. She was really energetic. I mean, everyone was telling me about her after the game, that how fun she was, how excited she was, and how loud she was. You know, so it is fun to have that opportunity to bring her It was the first time for her in San Diego. COVID kind of canceled her trip last time, but it was the first time. I mean, she enjoyed a full week here. She was so excited for the 2 games, and yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure she enjoyed it. She already told me that she wants us to be on the championship game. She wants to be here, or even the semifinals. I mean, if we go to Chihuahua, she'll be there. And I mean, you know how it's gonna be there. It's just gonna be loud and all of that. If we come here and play the semifinals and she's here, I mean, she's just gonna be loud. She's fun.
I was telling Phil, we got to book that ticket, man. I want Mama Pino in the stands. Let's go.
Yeah.
So right now we're assuming, right, Craig, that Chihuahua is gonna be going. It's gonna be the adversary that we're gonna be facing off.
I mean, 1-1 in the second, but yes, let's go ahead and let's work on the operating assumption. We can recalibrate tomorrow if we have to.
I was gonna say, at this point, right now, the specific point in time, Dallas and Casey are going at it, and if Dallas happens to win 2 tonight, then we would, not be facing Chihuahua. But so, Guerrero, thinking about facing Chihuahua, what are you expecting going into the semifinal match? And I mean, are you looking forward to it? Because that's a scary one, man. And we talked about this. This Chihuahua team is definitely a fantastic team.
I mean, being scared, not really. I think we knew that it was going to come to a point where either the semis, the first round, or the championship. I mean, if you want me to be honest, I think the best 2 teams in the leagues are going to face on the semis, and I think everyone is expecting that game. I mean, we don't know yet if it's going to be Chihuahua, but if we were going to play the semis tomorrow, yes, it was Chihuahua, and I mean, we're okay with it. I think Phil said it on the home opener. I mean, this is a playoffs match, because we're gonna play them. I mean, I don't think anybody in the league was expecting them to start that slow. But I mean, we knew with the plays that they had, I mean, they were gonna be where they at, and with the seeding that how the league made it and all of them, and they got to the point where San Diego Soccer and Chihuahua has to face off on the semis. I mean, a lot of people would say it's a championship game, but it's on the semis. I mean, we're confident. We're not we haven't won anything. We go one game at a time. And I mean, if it's Chihuahua, if it's Dallas, if it's KC, if it's Florida, I mean, we're ready. We want to play. And at the end of the day, you got to play the best teams in order to win a championship. And it doesn't matter who's in front of you.
Yes.
That's the right answer, my friend. Well, Guerrero, it's you're one of the stalwarts of this team, and you and I have known each other for years now. I still will always think about Australia, always think about your chance to be the captain of that Mexico team, and the incredible undefeated run that you guys had through the WMF World Cup, and now here the Sockers have a chance to put a second ring on your finger, and for you to earn that, of course, with this incredible team and this incredible season. It's been a few weeks trying to get you on the show. We are so glad that you could spend a few minutes, with us.
It was, I mean, it's been tough. The last 3-4 weeks hasn't been easy for me. But I mean, I always say it, after that concussion, it went downhill, but we're coming back, working slowly to get back. And yeah, I mean, thanks for the space. Thanks for the time. Thank you for what you guys do for the team. I mean, it is great. It is always great to listen to you guys and to watch all this shows.
Appreciate you, man. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we will be seeing you down on the floor. And we're going to give out that playoff date just a little bit later in the show. But good luck and stay healthy and keep it rolling, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You too, guys. Stay safe, and thanks again.
Guerrero Pino. Tell you what, on my first team all league ballot for this season, and that we gave out all our awards winners last year. Last week, I should say, one of the best. And it's that thing, defenders that don't get credit for defending. It just drives me crazy in this league. Defenders only get credit if they score goals or get assists. They don't get credit for defending. And that's why I keep putting that stat in our game notes, game after game, about what Pino and Cardenas do to the great forwards in this league, who averaged a hat trick basically against everyone else and get 1 point a game against San Diego. So special thanks to Guerrero, who, we had Cardenas on, but we hadn't had Pino on yet. So I'm psyched. I feel like we filled out our set today.
We've said it here, and we'll continue to say it forever. I think defense wins championships, and the defense that we have right now is just, it's incredible. And if you're not on the Guerrero Pino MVP, of the defense, like, I don't know, the top everything. Like, this man right here encompasses what is a fantastic defensive player, what a defensive player should be. Him and Cardenas. And so I feel like if you're not watching the games, like, you really won't understand. But if you're seeing this man play, like, geez, like, I can't even describe it. Sometimes, like, I lose words because I try to explain something so apparent and clear in my head, and then I'm like, but if you need to watch the games and to understand what we're talking about. We'll say it, we'll continue to say it. The Pino Cardenas connection, and as well as everybody else, honestly, in defense. And you mentioned obviously Cesar Cerda, and Juan Manuel Rojo, and everybody else that helps in the back. I mean, we're just lucky, man. And that's the reason we're going to win a championship. And that's the reason why we won that championship. And that's the reason why I'm feeling confident. I'm not going to jinx it, but that's the reason why, if we do win it, it's going to be because defense wins championships. Completely
agree. Guerrero, Pino, incredible stuff. Okay, game 2 of the Sockers quarterfinal against the Wave had almost exactly the same score, Jerry, but a very, very different game. Sockers beating Milwaukee 9-3. We roll the highlights in for our viewers live on twitch.tv/San Diego Sockers. And this one, I thought you could almost break it into two halves, right? Because in the first half, it's the Sockers possessing, doing their methodical thing. What we see right at the top of the highlight reel was a disallowed goal. And quite honestly, we also saw our first Phil Salvaggio challenge, our first VR challenge of the postseason. And it came like 2-3 minutes into the match. But hey, anytime you can take a goal, especially the first goal off the board, even though you don't have another challenge the rest of the game, that's a play you have to challenge, right?
Do it. Yeah, got to do it. That was smart. And I think it threw them off too, to be honest. Right?
Yeah. Because that early momentum, that early adrenaline spike, you get the goal, you see the ball in the net, you celebrate, then it's gone. And all of a sudden your brain lets out the anti-adrenaline to bring you back down. And that's tough. That's tough to come back from. Sockers did a great job possessing the give and go. Childs and Leo, Leo again, who was absolutely brilliant on this night. I had to go through the goals and the highlight replays to properly adjudicate Leonardo de Oliveira's night on Sunday. He had 1 goal and 4 assists. This is the 1 goal. It gets things started, but it began, Jerry, with Cerda making a poor pass that was going to lead to potentially a counterattack. And Leo rescued the pass, tipped it to Childs all in one motion, and then Childs feeds it back to Leo for the goal. It's just, he's such a two-way player. People don't realize how much of a two-way player Leonardo de Oliveira is.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And, you see it again not too long after, too. I mean, they just were going at it, both Leo and Childs, with a little bit of help there from Pee-wee and from Cesar Cerda as well. I mean, this was a team effort, and you saw this entire night just going where, the way of the Sockers. I mean, I do feel like that first goal from Milwaukee, if it hadn't been taken away, they were going to ride a little bit of of a wave of momentum, to say the least. And that being taken away, I think was very smart from Phil Salvaggio to throw that flag. And we see 2 goals. Now we're up ahead 2-0, where we were down 1-0. What a great place to be at this point.
Ian Bennett hits the crossbar at the end of the first quarter, but it was just another night where Ian Bennett had no impact on the run of play. None. I mean, that one shot, you could say, I guess, a couple of times that he had one short post that he missed, but otherwise Bennett not really doing a lot. Leo doing a lot. How about the vision to find Charlie on the back post, the technique to curl the ball through the air, and then Charlie to use the sole of his foot to knock it in the net.
Yeah, what a beautiful goal that was. Again, Leo doing Leo things. What a fantastic, like you said, the vision, right? To get that ball to him. I mean, he sees him open, says, "Hey, here it is, perfectly placed with enough space to just have Charlie, lift his right foot and put it in." I mean, it just that communication is just so great. I mean, they read each other so well. They know what each other's gonna do. The ball placement was just beautiful, and we just kept rolling, man. 3-0 at this point, like, jeez.
Well, Milwaukee would make their move. 3-0 would become 3-1 and then become 3-2. And you had to expect a team with the veteran leadership of Milwaukee to eventually find their feet in an elimination game. And they did, and they made it 3-2. But then, and we're currently watching the 3-1 goal, and Andre Hain, knocking it home. Excellent for him, excellent for them. Withstanding an opponent's rush, it's just like the NBA. It's part of playoffs, right?
Yeah, of course. Did we lose Craig? Uh-oh. I think we may have lost Craig. We're gonna have to see what happened. Here, Craig. I'm gonna remove you real quick. Well, I guess I'll keep it going. Yeah, as we're watching here, the highlights. Let me see if I can add him back on here.
Hi.
Hey, what's happening? There you are.
Where'd I go? What
I
happened?
don't know what happened. You went quiet for a bit. We lost you. You're gonna have some editing.
I stopped twitching. I'm twitching once again.
Craig isn't twitching.
I'm back to twitching.
Talking about twitching, Morgan takes a pretty big hit there on the second.
No, I'm twitching again.
Oh no.
Well, here's the play that changes the game, right? This is what I was talking. I think the internet froze just because I didn't have anything to say about the second goal. I wanted to just get to this. A nasty collision. Joey Capinas is a guy I've known for years and have a lot of respect for. He was just trying to keep a goal out. It wasn't a dirty play, but it's a shootout. And how crazy was it that Joey Capinas was taken out by Giuliano Oliviero in exchange for Matt Perella just to guard the shootout? I thought that was one of the quirkiest elements of this whole game.
What was that about, Craig? Like, did you talk to anybody and find out what in the world happened? Because I was so confused. I was like, wait a minute. Are we switching goalkeepers? And then I saw Capinos come back on after this. So I was so confused. I mean, so confused. I mean, don't get me wrong. We got the goal, but, what in the world?
So what I was told by a couple of long-term Wave fans is that Oliviero has done this in the past, switched his goalkeeper on a shootout, just trying to kind of upset the rhythm of the other player. And Perella is a taller player than Capinos, so I think he was just going for more of a physical presence. But Craig Childs ain't going to be. That's not going to affect Craig Childs at all. I just thought it was absolutely hilarious, and I didn't think it was great for Joey. Like, I feel like Joey should have stood in there to take that penalty, to take that shootout. It just. I mean, even if it was Giuliano's call, but it wasn't a great look for him. Is all I'm saying. It wasn't a great look. Nonetheless, Rojo with an amazing look. We saw it just a moment ago. One of the goals of the year to make it 5-2 at the half, and then the third quarter is Pardo's quarter. Boris Pardo gets 9 shots on goal, 12 total in the quarter. He's making diving saves. He's making combo saves. Sockers had a number of, here's an example of it, of gorgeous counterattack opportunities that they completely whiffed. And as such, the Sockers weren't credited with a single shot in the third quarter. But I really think this, and David Banks, who is our fill-in on color for Nate Abrea on Sunday, said it as well. I think with a different goalkeeper, Nate, the way that Milwaukee played in that third quarter, the quality, the persistence, the accuracy, I think it would have been 5-5 or 6-5 Milwaukee with a different goalkeeper. And with Boris Pardo, they didn't even score one goal. It stayed 5-2.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. That would have been a totally different picture there. But man, Boris again doing like what he does. To his, to his credit, Capinos did hold on and he took quite a few shots. But golly, like how do you stop that from Cesar Cerda? What is he complaining about? That was the one thing I didn't like. Like what are you doing? I mean, that was a clear goal. What's Pino saying? Is that what's he saying? Is he
4 fouls? I don't know. What is he saying there? Incredible move by Brandon Escoto, by the way, there. But
wow.
that was the end of 18 minutes of Milwaukee pressure, Jerry. From the start of the third quarter to 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. 18 minutes of Milwaukee pressure. And the Sockers get the goal to make it 6-2. And right there, I figured, okay, this game's over. But San Diego gets a penalty. Guerrero got called for a PK. Bennett finished that one shot. So Ian Bennett had 3 goals in 3 games against San Diego. We're about to see that goal right here on the replay. 2 on the power play in the fourth quarter when the team was way behind, and the other was on a set piece in the first quarter, I think, of that 13-2 loss. So, Pino talked about it a little bit, but I just don't think people understand, like when they talk about MVP and who's the best player in the league and who, corrects or who is, the most dominant player. And yeah, Ian Bennett scored 50 goals. When he faced a defense like San Diego, he was essentially a non-factor in these games, and that to me is why Cardenas should be defender of the year. That is why Pino should be first team all defense. It's why Cerda should be an all league player. It's because it's not the points. It's not the blocks. It's taking great players and erasing them and then asking the team that you're facing, okay, what are you going to do now? Your entire game plan is based on Ian Bennett scoring. Well, now you don't get to do that. It reminds me of Bill Belichick's New England Patriots over the years. Take away the best receiver, take away the best offensive weapon, and then say, well, now what? How are you going to plan? And most teams don't have a plan B. The Sockers have a plan B, a plan C. They definitely have a plan L. It's Leo. Leo just doing Leo things. Sockers get some gorgeous counters and even get super cheeky, some Julie V cheekiness in that fourth quarter as 5-2 eventually becomes 9-2 before 7-3 becomes 9-3, almost 10-3. Rojo scoring 0.1 seconds after the final horn. And there were a couple players, Jerry, on the club that were like, hey, do you think that went in? Could we chat? And I'm like, don't even finish the sentence. You don't get to challenge that.
Why?
You don't get to challenge that. Go away.
Just stop it. Man, these guys I just want to win. Like every single one of them is just like obsessed. And they want to make sure that they win. Look, I love that though. I think that is, why that's the Soccer's mentality. That is the Soccer's way right there. And that is why they're a part of this organization, because that's the way they think. Like, come on, guys, really?
Well, as JG says, they look like the 80s Sockers with their uniforms, but they're playing like the 80s Sockers now. They're not only winning, but they're winning with style. They're not only winning, but it's bangers only. They're not only winning, but it's control things, sometimes embarrass the other team, as the game warrants. And it leads to that swagger. It just leads to that attitude that has the rest of the league pissed. and extra wanting to beat San Diego. But the Sockers, all 24 games, they know that that's the most important game for their opponent. So they're so used to it. And I think that is one of the huge differentiating factors between our franchise and between other clubs, is that there are plenty of games where other clubs just wind up running into a team that doesn't care, or it's an off night or this and that. But with the Sockers, every single night, it's an on night. It's the other team's biggest game of the year. So San Diego has to have that mentality from game one through the playoffs, and therefore taking it up another notch in the playoffs. They were already there.
Yeah. Man, what a crazy game. What a great game. You saw there Rojo at the end. He's like, what do you mean it's not a goal? Does it count? Jeez. Come on, guys.
Unbelievable. Leandro de Oliveira leads the MESL in points in the playoffs, Jerry. 8 points in 2 games. He had 1+2 in game 1. He had 1+4 in game 2. The pass master led the league with 33 assists in the regular season. He's got 6 in 2 games already in the playoffs. Could it be a second straight playoff MVP for Leo? I mean, I think Boris Pardo has a case as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, what a case he is making. We still have a few games to go to continue making
Let's
that
hope
case.
so. Let's hope we have 4 games to go.
Goodness.
Specifically.
Yeah. No, what a crazy time. And we've been singing praises of Leo, but here you go. Here he is again when it matters most. And I think, everybody's stepping it up. So yeah, I'm excited. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's get to our news segments. We got 20 minutes left in the show. MASL news. I've gotten this question. I've gotten it through the website. I've gotten it on Twitter. I've gotten it on Instagram. I've gotten it on Facebook. I've seen it in the chat here this evening. Hang on a second, Craig. You told me last Tuesday on Soccer's Overtime, Season 4, Episode 22, that the league had confirmed with you that the second round reseeding would be done by points, not by the original seeding structure, and that therefore San Diego's path to the Ron Newman Cup was Milwaukee, and then probably Kansas City, and then whoever you face in the finals. MASL gonna MASL, guys. So Tuesday morning last week, as you know, Jerry, I was at training, and Phil Salvaggio, our coach, our owner, told me, and Sean Bowers told me, that they had been told by the league how the second round would be reseeded, and that it was the way that I told you last week on the show. And I heard that. Knocked over my mic, sorry. I heard that, and I thought to myself, consider the source. Hang on. Phil's told me something that he has heard, and then it wasn't canon, and then it's been told to me, and I thought it was canon, and it wasn't. So I went directly to John Raymond, the director of communications of the Major Arena Soccer League, and I said, "Is this true? Is this right? Is this confirmed? Can I tell people this?" And the answer was unequivocally yes. And I double checked. So this means that Chihuahua is this and Kansas City is that. Yes. And then I said it on the show. Jerry, our show has grown in popularity from week 1 to week 23. And more people are watching on Twitch.
Apparently.
More and more people are watching the replay on YouTube. More and more people are listening to the podcast. Someone from Kansas City either watched the video or watched the live stream or listened to the podcast, and they went to the league. And they went to the league. I know it was you, Bergrud. I know it was you.
No, it was you, Eric.
I know it was you,
Dang
Bergrud.
it.
That was my angry face. And Thursday, all of us out of nowhere, Thursday afternoon at the office, boop, boop, here comes an MASL memo into all of our inboxes. and it says, well, just as was decided in the owners' meeting many months ago, reseeding shall be done based on the original seeds, and so it shall be, as it ever shall have been done. I'm like, I felt like I was in 1984, the MASL, skit. It was always reseeding by points. It was never reseeding by points. We are always at war with Eurasia. We were never at war with Eurasia. I mean, I felt gaslit, to be honest. I felt a little bit gaslit by the MASL. But here's what got me is that if they just hadn't said anything last week, we always thought reseeding was done based on seeds. We spent the whole year saying reseeding was done based on seeds. They told us it was points.
Yep.
And then they told us it wasn't. So, hey, look. Are other teams worried about facing the Sockers in the second round and trying to avoid them? Could be.
Possibly.
Is it part and parcel for the 2022 portion of this season that things change late in the year?
Oh, man.
Why, yes, it is. However, look.
Darn you, corn dog.
Was it the corn dog?
It probably was.
I still think it's Bergrud. I still think it was Bergrud.
It's Bergrud.
I think Bergrud went running to Budzinski, and Budzinski went running to Tozer, and the next thing you know, I don't know.
Blame it on him because I know it was him. No, I don't know it was him. I'm just kidding.
I know nothing.
Love you,
I know
Eric.
nothing. What I know is that the league could have said nothing, and nothing would have happened.
Yeah.
So we went on a little tornado for a week that was completely pointless, and okay, it is what it is. Face Dallas, that's as simple as it gets. We thought before, and that's where it is again.
You know what I feel like? I feel like
that
I feel like that one meme where like it's like, why don't you like it's basically MSL, why you confirm when it's not you weren't supposed to. But here we are. It's fine. It is what it is. Hey, here we are watching the Dallas game now to see what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited about the power and the influence of soccer's overtime, Jerry, that we're like Wilt Chamberlain. We're changing the league's rules.
Let's do it.
The league adjusts to us, and the next thing you know, the rules change.
Other podcasts claim to be number one.
Trendsetters, influencers.
We don't need it on paper. We just know we are.
We know. I mean, it's clear. We change rules. We're influencers. We're game changers. Kansas City and Dallas tied at 2. Dallas needs to win the second half and then win a 15-minute game. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now. I thought 100% that Kansas City would be ahead by 2 or 3 goals at this point. So, mass credit to the sidekicks. The game is not over, and we invite everyone to stay on Twitch and to migrate over to MASL Soccer when we are done. Baltimore and Chihuahua, man, that was a freaking epic. That was an epic. That's what the league wants. That is what the league dreams of. 2 evenly matched teams winning their home games, sending it to the knockout game, bringing all the drama. What a series. Kudos to the Savage expansion team. First year, I know that they imported everyone. I know that they're now the Mexican all-star team minus the Sockers. But hey,
yeah,
winning back-to-back is tough, and beating Venzela in the playoffs is tough. And I thought last night was a great moment for the league, how strong that series was, the competition.
Yeah. What a crazy team they've put together. And that was a conversation that was being had actually during the game yesterday, I think, with a lot of people, saying, hey, we have, a couple of teams coming back. As you know, I'm so excited about Willie coming back. And so, like, what's going to happen to this Chihuahua team? What happens when Solis, this Sonora, comes back? And, it's going to be very interesting. And there's never a lack of storylines in this league, Craig. And here's Chihuahua. I mean, just bringing it, And so yeah, I'm excited to face him. Would I have loved to see a Soccer's Chihuahua final? Absolutely. But I feel like, in my book, I think that's the final. And I think we kind of talked about it a little bit, Craig. And I don't know if you want to share how you feel about it, but I think that this Chihuahua team is something to be reckoned with, and they have to be beaten in order to get to that cup. Like they're gonna be that wall that Boris has been for people. Like Chihuahua's gonna be that wall with the cup in the back that we're gonna have to break through in order to get to it.
Well, I feel very similarly. I mean, I think Chihuahua has shown that they have the passion, that they have the technique, that they have the home field advantage, and that they have the players to be that team. I think if there's one team that you really think about who could beat San Diego on their home floor, Chihuahua, with that crowd, with over 2,000 people in that tiny arena, with the drums going, La Batteria, with the supporters, with everything, with the intensity, with the music, the sound system, just everything that's a part of that arena. I mean, frankly, I know our team is going to be so up for it. They're going to be so up for it because great players are thrilled to be a part of a great environment. They get even more excited to play when the environment is tough and forbidding. So I know our team is excited to play in a game and in a scenario like that. And then you wonder, right? Because if Chihuahua were to prevail in that game one, well, the Sockers, in the two games the Sockers played Chihuahua here in San Diego, it was 4-1, it was 6-2. Sockers really shut down the Savage offense, put them on the big field, spread them out, slowed them down, controlled things. So if San Diego did happen to lose game one, you'd feel really strong that San Diego could take game two and to control that full game. And then you'd have a 15-minute game. And there's no controlling anything in a 15-minute game. 15 minutes is insanity. It's chaos. It's wildness. And that's what gives any long-term Sockers fan heart palpitations, because the 2010s were all about a Mexican team beating San Diego in a single elimination game in the semifinals. Just like over and over. It was Monterrey, and then it was Sonora, and then it was Monterrey again. And now Chihuahua. And by the way, the head coach of all those teams was Luis Jaime Borrego, who will be on the bench for Chihuahua for this series coming up. So, anytime you go to Chihuahua, it's a trap. The difference is we know it's a trap. We can see the bamboo shoots. We can see, the trap that we're going to fall into. So, and don't forget our guest today, Guerrero Pino, the nature of his visa doesn't allow him to travel to Mexico. So every time we go to Mexico, we don't have Pino. In the past, every time we've gone to Mexico, we haven't had Leo. I heard some question in the front office as to whether Leo could make this trip or not, but I wouldn't count about it. I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't count on it until you see it. I wouldn't count on it. Charlie didn't make the trip to Chihuahua the first time. Can Charlie travel? Don't count on it. We're going to find out. Tell you who can travel. M2 champion Iram Pollo Ruiz, who has been training all year kind of just to play this game, Jerry. And that's the weird thing. And I was talking to our GM Sean Bowers about this last night as the game was alive, and we were kind of going, okay, Chihuahua, Baltimore, what do you think? I said to him, like, I kind of feel like we've been planning for this semifinal road game in Chihuahua since the day we left Chihuahua, January 22nd, having beaten them twice in golden goal overtime and going like, okay, it's going to come through here and we're going to have to win this game. And so, Pollo, we're going to have you play for Sockers 2 for a month. We're going to have you come to training at a specific time. Big Rojo, we're going to have you start coming to training at a specific time because we've got this one game and we have to plan for this one game. So in that sense, I kind of feel like we've been thinking about in Sockers, we've been thinking about this Chihuahua matchup for months.
That's fair. I'll take it. that just goes to show how even when we're not prepared, we're prepared.
Exactly right. Florida beat St. Louis in 2 games. That really was unsurprising. Florida did not play great in the second game, which was slightly more surprising. But I think every team that is facing elimination will play their best game. And that's MASL news. Soccer's news. Stand with Ukraine went awesome, Jerry. Our fans came through like you can't believe to support Ukraine at Sunday's match. We had over 1,500 people on 5 days' notice to come out and to be a part of that match. And I'm really proud of Spencer Ishii. I'm really proud of Ezra Burdett and the work that they did to not only get people into the arena on Sunday, but to seat them well, to have the crowd be passionate, to look good, to be exciting. And then for our fans to step up, because there were fewer fans in the house than there were for Star Wars Night, Jerry. But we raised more money for House of Ukraine, over $4,000 for House of Ukraine via our silent auction, via merchandise sales, and via donations. Kudos
That is
San Diego
awesome.
Sockers fans.
That is amazing. Congratulations. And thank you to everybody that helped with that. And here finally got the image up. Sorry about that. But what a great time. Also to see some legends, sir. See some true legends there as well.
We had Zoli and Julie right there. Man in the booth. 2 of our retired numbers. Nick Warchuk as well. Incredible stuff. So our thanks. It was really, they helped to create the atmosphere that made this possible, and to really, fire that drive. But we thank the Sockers fans because they are the ones who, stepped up, put their money forward, and as such, House of Ukraine getting an over $4,000 donation. I appreciate what EC Money said as well here. Rally towels on Sunday looked awesome. Looked so good. We got to keep that going. Got to keep that going as well. That was absolutely terrific. Sockers 2, Jerry. We haven't really talked about it. It is Sockers overtime. Sockers 2 won the championship. They beat Omaha in overtime, and then they beat Cleveland, that team whose fans had been trolling our feeds on YouTube and Twitch for 4 months straight. I mean, what, 50 times a game?
Crunch Fan 200, if you're listening to this, which I doubt it. Where are you? Because I was trying to. So that guy showed up on the chat yesterday during the Chihuahua game, and I was like, "Hey, how you feeling? You all right, man? Just doing a wellness check." No response. Like he was gone. He was gone. So there you go.
Out of here. Unbelievable, man. How many times did they say, "Oh, well, we'd kill the Sockers"? Like all of this nonsense, man. You didn't even beat Sockers 2.
No, we have
Sockers 2
a
could carry you.
we have a big
Different level.
we have a big fan of the Cleveland Crunch in our buddy, right? In the locals.
Yeah, Corbin.
Corbin, thank you. Corbin. It was like drawing a blank, but he even said, he's like, "Yeah, nope, we didn't show up. Sockers deserved it, and here we are, sir. San Diego Sockers 2 now have 2 stars. The Sockers 2 have 2 stars above the crest. Beautiful.
Something special to see, and we're super, super excited. Congratulations. Pollo had a hat trick in the championship game. Ishmael Rojo was in the playoff MVP. Those are 2 guys who, save for visas, would 100% be on our club. And so we thank them. We thank them for their contribution and for adding silverware. What a great day it was on Sunday, Jerry, that the Sockers lifted the MASL Shield and Sockers 2 lifted the M2 Championship trophy. 2 pieces of silverware to 1 franchise within hours. Unbelievable.
I mean, how many times do we get to see that? If you're not listening and watching the Sockers organization as a whole, you've been missing out. But Craig, that cup is huge, by the way. Did I?
Oh my God.
Miss something? My goodness.
It was half the size of Pollo.
Look at it.
It's so big.
You see Alan Crespo there as well. One of the, I would say also very much an MVP up there with Ishmael Rojo, but Alan there as well, dude. Like, look how big it is right next to him. My goodness.
Unreal. Congratulations, Sockers too. Only one loss all year. It was up in Ontario. It was kind of a rough game. It was early. So our two franchises all year have each lost one game to Ontario early in the season, and that's it. That's it for the whole year. Pretty cool.
Ugh.
Really enjoyed that.
Awesome.
Okay, let's get to some important notes that you all want to hear. So, regardless of whether Chihuahua or Dallas emerges from the quarterfinals, the Sockers know the date of their second round home playoff game, of the conclusion of the semifinals, the game 2 and the possible game 3, and it will be Sunday, April 24th, 5:05 p.m. Sunday, April 24th, later than we thought. We were thinking it was going to be Easter. We told you a month ago here on Soccer's Overtime that we had been told it would probably be Easter, that the Sockers would play their second round home game. And the answer is a week after Easter. It will be April 24th, 5 p.m. The reason for this is the arena availabilities for other teams. So if the Sockers play Chihuahua, game 1 at Corner Sport Arena will be Monday, April 18th at 6:30 p.m. Monday, April 18th at 6:30 p.m. That would be the Sockers and Savage. And that is, of course, going to be the case if Kansas City wins this game or wins a mini game this evening. If Dallas somehow were able to come forward and get through, then the game 1 date would change to April 19th. Down in Allen, Texas, and it would be a 5 o'clock start. But April 24th would remain the same either way. So we know our home date. Our home date is going to be 24th, 5 p.m., Sunday the 24th. But it's either the 18th or the 19th for the road leg. And look, for the purpose of this podcast, we're just going to say Chihuahua and we're going to say the 18th. Okay, because that follows through to the rest of the planning the Sockers front office did today. Monday the 18th will also be a Sockers watch party, and that watch party will be at the Dana, our official hotel partner, the Dana in Mission Bay. And as such, we invite everyone to come out, a much more central location than going all the way up to North County. We loved everyone who came out to the Calafino Sublimit Lounge last Thursday for our watch. It was incredible. It was more than I thought, but don't have to drive nearly as far unless you're a North County person. We will be at the Dana at Mission Bay, 6:30 p.m. for that watch party Monday the 18th. But what will you be watching? Will you be watching our friends Carlitos and Jaime? Or will you be watching Craig and Gerardo? That's my plan.
Craig and Gerardo? Who's that guy?
Yes, that's
Can't use
you. Because yes, and we've seen multiple questions about it. We've approved the league. We're going to do an English broadcast, and the English broadcast will be right here on our San Diego Soccer's Twitch channel. And we're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing it from Calafino, just like you and I did it last time, Jerry. We worked it out. We did 2 games there. It worked out incredibly. We'll have Jake the Rake, the guy who's running the Calafino Sublimit Lounge, to help us out and keep everything open for us. But while all y'all are down at the Dana, Jerry and I will be up at Calafino creating the broadcast that you get to watch and enjoy at the Dana. So we will have that English broadcast. You will have that opportunity to have that Soccer's flavor with us on the 18th. So watch party plus English broadcast on the 18th, and then the 24th, we all need to show out and show up, get together, and help push this club all the way through to the grand final once again. There's only one path for the Sockers in 2021-2022. It's to take the whole thing. So we need you to make sure that that happens. Get your tickets, stsoccers.com/tickets. Everything will be on sale starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., 866-799-GOAL. All of that jazz. Let's get it. Let's get loud. Let's get crazy.
Let's go. Excited.
All right. Let's see. Do I have anything? No, that's it. Oh, one last thing. For the 24th, we're doing a kids giveaway. All kids in attendance for that semifinal playoff game will get a vuvuzela to annoy their parents
Oh my
and hopefully
goodness.
the opponents as well.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know who decided on this in our front office. It was not me, but I love it. And I also hate it as a parent. I'm just imagining.
No, that's gonna be fun. What are you talking about? This is gonna be a lot of fun. They can join Section 19 as well. Just go crazy. Go make some noise over there.
Oh, and yes, I'm sorry. Did I not say that right? We're not actually giving away children. It's not a kids. It's a giveaway for kids.
Yeah.
It's not a giveaway of children. We're not giving away children. But if we did give away children,
we're gonna hear that sound,
okay.
but with vuvuzelas.
Yeah. If we had children's giveaway night where you actually gave away your children, what kind of attendance will we get for that game, Jerry?
We're going off the rails here, Craig. It's 6:33.
Yeah, it's 6:33. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. That's it. That's it for the show. All right, that does it for this edition of Soccer's Overtime. I made too many jokes about giving away our kids. That is done.
Sometimes
that
I wish
is
we could, but I get it. Sometimes I wish I could. So.
Want to say special thanks to our executive producer of this podcast, and that's Jerry Jimenez. Hey, Jerry, how can people follow you?
Hey, go follow me at Cheeto Jerry, CHIDOJERRY, on all social media, as well as the Cheeto FC. And I want to give a quick shout out to the community that is surrounding the league. It's fun. Sometimes it's, sometimes it's tough to be a part of it, but a lot of times, the majority of the times, it's a lot of fun. Places like MSA Off the Wall and places like In the Box are a lot of fun. So shout out to my new friend Kelsey over at The Wave, who's super awesome. She's hilarious, and I'm sure she's not listening. So Jenna, you'll have to tell her about this. But yeah, it's such a cool community, and if you are thinking about getting involved more with supporters, as we keep talking about it on this podcast, go to any of those communities. See one that see if there's somewhere you fit. Come say hi. Come say hi to us. We're everywhere. So, yeah, Craig, always a pleasure, sir. Where can they find you?
You can find me at 619 Sports on Twitter. You can find me at 619 Sports and Life on Instagram. When you saw me do this, that's because Dallas just scored to take a 3-2 lead in the third quarter. So we invite you all to migrate from our broadcast right on over to MASL_soccer here on Twitch and enjoy the second half of that one. For Jerry Jimenez, for Guerrero, Pino, I'm Craig Elston. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Soccer's Overtime. No game this weekend, so stay tuned. Keep your powder dry. We will see you at the Dana on Monday the 18th. We will talk to you on this channel with the English language broadcast on the 18th. And until then, have a great weekend and go Sockers!